Shake on It by It's_Kingston on AO3. Episode 11. Chapter 11. Wake up. We're gonna be late if you don't get up. Luz sleepily rubbed her eyes and sat up, looking around the room. Oh, finally you're up. It's 7 a.m. and school starts at 8. Amity said, standing near the door. We both need to go get ready. Make sure you're on time. She ran out of the door, leaving Luz half asleep in the beanbag chair. Huh? Oh, school, yeah. Luz mumbled as she stood up and stretched. She grabbed the empty mugs and blankets before walking back to her aunt's house. Good morning, Eda, Luz said while walking in. She dropped the blankets on the couch and put the mugs in the sink. Good morning, Eda said from her chair at the kitchen table. She was holding a cup of coffee and petting the sleeping king in her lap. Luz quickly ran upstairs, taking a shower, and putting on her school uniform. She walked back downstairs before checking the time. Oh, it's only 7:30 a.m.? I've got time, Luz said to herself. She grabbed an apple off the counter and walked out the door, waving to Eda before she closed it behind her. Luz quickly arrived at Hexside, pulling out her phone to check the time again. 7:40 a.m.? I'm super early, she thought as she walked inside, seeing only a few people standing in the normally packed hallways. I should probably get to class before the hallway fills up, Luz mumbled as she went to her locker and grabbed the book she needed for her first 2 classes of the day, history and math. Hi, Mr. Jackson, Luz said as she entered the classroom. Good morning, Luz. Glad to see you're early, he responded before looking back down to the stack of papers on his desk. She sat down in the front row, waiting for the class to begin as the desk slowly filled around her. Hey, Luz, Gus chimed as he sat down beside her. Hey, Gus, Luz said back. Did your study session go well? He asked hesitantly. Yeah, it was. Luz stopped herself, looking for the right words. Okay? She gave a sweet smile. She hated lying to her friends, but they'd be worried if they found out she was hanging out with Amity, let alone having fun. Well, I'm glad it's going well, Gus said reassuringly, putting a hand on Luz's shoulder. Yeah. The bell rang shortly after, signaling the start of class. History was easy for Luz after studying with Amity, and she had confidently answered questions throughout the period. Luz, great job today. Keep it up, Mr. Jackson said as Luz and Gus walked out of the classroom. Thanks, Luz said back. Yeah, he's right. What's got you so motivated lately? Gus asked. Luz thought for a minute. She couldn't tell him about all those bets about wanting to impress a certain blight, so she quickly came up with a good excuse. I want the top spot on exams, Luz declared, looking over at Gus. It's technically not a die, Luz thought, waiting for the response. Oh yeah, you were super close last time. 4th place, Gus said back, holding his hands up for a high five. Yeah, you were too, Luz exclaimed. Oh, wait, we need to head to class. You're right. See you at lunch. Gus ran off, waving over his shoulder as he rushed away. Luz walked to her next class, somehow arriving earlier despite her hallway holdup. Oh no, Luz murmured, seeing 2 big bold words scribbled on the whiteboard behind the teacher's desk. Pop quiz. Luz took her seat beside Amity before pulling her head down and sighing. Suddenly, an idea came to her. Luz pulled out her phone and began quickly typing, causing Amity to look over. Lazura, I bet I could get a higher score than you on today's Pops quiz. Amity's phone buzzed in her pocket. She pulled it out and read the message before sending one back. Rick Chicks 128. Is that an official bet? Lazura, of course. Loser buys the winner lunch? On Saturday? Rich Chick 128. Sounds good. The pair made eye contact and smiled at each other. Hey, Luz quietly said. Shake on it? They quickly looked around to make sure no one was paying attention before shaking hands, confirming the terms and locking in the bet. As the class started, the teacher called for the class's attention. As you could see, you'll be taking a pop quiz today. It will not count for your grade and will only serve to measure your academic level. Do your best. The teacher passed out the quizzes, making sure all students had one. You may begin. The class was silent, the only noise coming from the turning of pages and scribbling of pencils. Luz carefully answered each question, taking care to double-check her equations. 45 minutes had passed, and Luz was on the last question. Amity stood up beside her, walking to the front of the classroom and turning in her paper. Why is math so difficult? Luz thought to herself. Erasing her answer in favor of a different method, she was unsure of what the question was asking. And, like all math, it didn't make sense. Oh, come on! She grumbled under her breath, careful to not let the teacher hear her talking. You know what? 15.7. It's close enough to 16 for me. It's definitely that one. Luz thought, circling the answer on the page. She, not so confidently, stood up and turned in her paper. The teacher informed her to leave the classroom. So, Luz, I was thinking, I want you to treat me to a place with great cookies, Amity said beside the doorway. Oh, that's weird. I was thinking about getting you to take me somewhere with oatmeal cookies, too. Luz fired back, a smile creeping onto her face. The teacher said our quizzes would be graded and posted on the bulletin board by the end of the school day. Amity exclaimed, pointing to the bulletin board across the hall. Probably that one. Cool. We can see my winning score at the end of the day, Luz said back. The bell informing students of their current classes, ending, rang, and the sound of chatter was soon to follow. As students began filling the hallways at rapid speed, their peers' eyes drifted towards Amity and Luz, who were standing side by side. The occasional whisper was heard, and while it probably wasn't about them, being the focus of attention wasn't good in this situation. We should get to lunch, Amity said, walking to the cafeteria. Yeah. Luz quickly agreed, following behind her. Luz walked through the cafeteria's open doors first, grabbing a lunch tray and sitting down with her friends at the corner table. Hello, Luz exclaimed, sitting across Willow and Gus, who seemed deep in conversation. Hey, Luz, Willow said back, giving her a smile. Hey, Gus said, waving as she spoke. You guys seem like you're in a good mood. What happened? Luz asked. Basha hasn't bothered us for almost a week. It's like something huge changed, Willow exclaimed. Yeah, it's like she's a completely different person now. Not her or her lackeys have been messing with us, Gus continued. Willow continued watching, her happy smile fading as she thought for a moment. Luz, do you think this has something to do with you studying with Amity? Willow paused, trying to figure out the right words. The Blight family owns the school, so they could have Basha kicked out too. Did you do something to get on Amity's good side? She asked. Her tone was a mix between a serious question and a joke, as if she knew the answer but still asked anyways. Well, she did say my accomplishments were respectable, or something, Luz joked, using air quotes, and a light tone in an attempt to change the topic. Yeah, that definitely sounds like her. All studying and serious, nothing fun, Gus said, shaking his head disapprovingly. At that moment, Luz wanted to tell him how wrong he was. How the Amity she knew, no, the real Amity, was. How she cared about studying but also liked having fun. How she liked chocolate chip cookies and amusement parks and flower gardens and bee orchids. How she liked reading Azora books and drinking hot cocoa, curled up under a warm blanket with a friend. How they'd play banter and tease each other. How when no one was around, no words needed to be exchanged in their silent conversations. Luz wanted to tell them how fun it was to be around her, and how warm it made her feel. Most of all, she wanted to tell them how sweet she was, how her smile seemed to make everything better, and how her laugh could brighten up anyone's day, especially Luz's. But she couldn't. It's not that she lacked the words or the means to do so. She certainly could tell them, but it would break Amity's trust. It would be utter betrayal In the past week, the pair had warmed up to each other, making them seem more like lifelong friends than people who met a week ago, and Luce wouldn't risk Amity's trust for the world. So, she kept her quiet and agreed. Yep, that's true, Luce said. I guess she just wants to maintain good grades. Willow and Gus nodded before the conversation turned to something else, and they got distracted in their conversation. As Luce finished her meal, she decided to leave the cafeteria. She wanted to be alone for a while, to clear her head. Thoughts crawled her mind as she put on a confident smile and came up with her best lie to not worry her friends. One of my teachers asked me to meet them before the end of lunch, so I need to go, Luce said. Did you get in trouble or something? Gus teased. Luce, don't commit crimes without us. Willow joined in, shooting her friend a mischievous smile. Oh, come on, that was one time. The remaining 2 classes passed by sluggishly as Luce waited for the test doors to be put up. Looking at the clock that hung above the science teacher's doorway, she mentally celebrated. Only 5 more minutes, she thought, swinging her focus from the teacher's boring lecture on molecule structure to the more interesting bet made earlier. Where should we go for lunch? The bell rang, cutting off Luce's train of thought. It's already time, she said, mindlessly grabbing her books off the desk. Walking, or rather running, through the hallways, Luce stopped near a circle of people. Recognizing Amity in the center of it, Luce weaved between everyone to reach her side. The pair looked silently at the charts as the crowd slowly dissipated, the loud chatter turning into a soft murmur as the conversation ended. Well, Amity broke the silence. I'll tell you once I figure out where we're going for lunch, she said teasingly. Whatever, Luce grumbled, pretending to be angry at her loss. Amity had aced the quiz with 100%, while Luce, who probably shouldn't have guessed that last question, got a 96%. Luce paused. I didn't want it to be a stalemate, she declared, shrugging her shoulders. Thanks. Amity laughed, a warm smile reaching her face. So, about that bet. She smiled and turned it to a mischievous one as she paused to think. We should go to the place you brought our dinners from during our first study session, Amity vaguely explained. Oh, the Burger Shack? I love that place, Luce said back. Amity nodded in agreement, and the plans were made. Let's meet there at 12 p.m., Amity suggested. Sounds great. Luce shot Amity some finger guns before adding, It's a date. Luce meant this in an innocent way, a way between friends to express plans made. Amity didn't know that. You okay? Luce asked, concerning looking at her friend's panicked expression. Yeah, see you then? Amity quickly waved, turning away from Luce. It was probably an effort to hide the surprise and growing redness on her face. Yeah. See you then? Luce said back, watching her friend walk away. What's up with her? Luce thought out loud, stopping mid-sentence as realization struck her. She felt her face heat up, quickly realizing, her hands covering her face. I can't believe I just said that, she murmured, shaking her head in disapproval. She breathed deeply, calming down her rapid pouring heart. She began walking out of the school, hoping she'll never have to think about anything ever again as she constantly relieved her cringy actions. I even gave a finger gun! Who does that? Luce murmured, looking up at the sky as she walked to Eda's house. She was now alone with her thoughts, no longer surrounded by the distracting buzzing of conversation. Why was I so panicked anyways? It's not like I see Amity as more than a friend. Luce reasoned, deciding she'll leave the issue alone for now, and possibly ever. She entered her aunt's house and shouted a greeting. When it was in return, she looked around, spotting a note on the table. Getting groceries, be back by dinner. Eda. Guess I'll get some homework done, Luce decided, walking to her room and pulling out a worksheet. She finished the first problem before stopping to pull out her phone and began opening Pinstam. Lazura. Hey, wanna come over and help me with my homework? Luz continued working, getting an entire sheet done without hearing a chime of response. Maybe I missed it? Luz thought, checking her notification. Nothing was there, so Luz tried again. Lazura. JK, you don't have to help. But it would be nice if you did. She put the phone down, taking out paper to start her rough draft for an English assignment. About to begin writing, she heard a phone chime, quickly picking it up to read it. Rich Chick 128. I'm bringing my homework, and we're getting it done. Luz giggled at her friend's sternness and typed out a worthy response. Lazura. I expected your homework to be done before you left the school building. Rich Chick 128. You sound like my mother. Lazura. Is that a compliment? Rich Chick 128. No. Lazura. Harsh. How long until you're here? Rich Chick 128. I can see your doorstep. Lazura. Why do you word it so creepy? Luz raced downstairs, opening door as Amity went to knock, almost reluding in Luz getting smacked. We should start working, Amity said as she walked in behind Luz. Geez, you just got here, Luz said, leading Amity upstairs to her room. They sat down at the desk and took out their papers, occasionally joking about something they worked. Where's the answer for this one? Luz asked, tapping on a question. That one? I think it's here. Amity said back, pointing to a section of the book. Her hand brushed over Luz's as she reached towards it. Luz felt her face heat up again and was instantly reminded of the day's events. We're just friends, she thought, focusing on her questions in an attempt to calm herself down. It failed. I'm gonna go get a snack. Do you want something? Luz asked, standing up from her seat. No thanks, Amity replied before turning back to her book. Luz walked downstairs and grabbed an apple from the basket off the counter, taking her time grabbing a plate and slicing it. She just sees you as a friend. Luz paused for a moment, feeling a wave of sudden gloom as she acknowledged the truth. You just see her as a friend. Nothing more, nothing less, she said under her breath. She breathed deeply, pushing her feelings away. She ascended the stairs. I'm back, Luz said as she entered the room. Amity hugged in acknowledgement, without looking up from a book. Luz put the plate on the table and sat down, plopping an apple slice into her mouth. Amity looked over before grabbing one off the plate too. So much for not wanting a snack, Luz teased as she pushed a plate between them. I just wanted to take yours, Amity said back, grinning as she grabbed another. I'll remember that next time you have a cookie. Luz tried to act annoyed, but her smile betrayed her. We're never going to get anything done, Amity groaned, choosing to ignore Luz's previous threats. But this way is so more entertaining, Luz said back, quickly getting a glare from Amity. Fine, fine, work now, fun later, Luz said, raising her hands up in defeat. They continued working on their homework, eventually finishing the dreadful pages within an hour. As they began putting their papers away, they heard the front door open. Luz looked at the clock beside her bed. Oh, that's Eda. It's already said. I should be getting home then, Amity said. Taking her bag, she headed to the door before turning around. Thanks for inviting me over. I'll see you on Saturday, she added, with a wave and a warm smile, before heading down the stairs. Luz felt grounded in her chair, zoning out as she heard faint conversation before the door shut. She was battling with her thoughts and emotions, a mental struggle to determine how she felt. We're just friends, right? She whispered to herself, quickly snapping out of it when a knock came at her bedroom door. Hey, kid. Your study section go well? Eda asked from her spot against the doorframe. Yeah, it was good. We got a lot done, Luz answered, giving a thumbs up, eager to change the topic away from Amity. Luz asked, Where were you going to make for dinner? Eda answered, leading Luz downstairs as she gestured at the ingredients she had gotten at the store. Sounds good, Luz said before running back upstairs and plopping onto her bed. Something's up with them, Eda said to herself, her gaze still focused on the stairs Luz just ran up. Luz, you've fallen hard. You've fallen hard. You've fallen hard, hard, hard. I'm sorry, you fell and you doomed yourself the second you put your guys' photo as your lock screen. You failed, my dude. As your lock screen? I'm sorry. That was stupid. Stupid. It was stupid. It was stupid. I think this was a really cute chapter. I really enjoyed it. This was really fun. I've been having a headache all day. I've had a long day today. Like, I've been out all day today. I have a lot of things I needed to do today. I had a really important appointment where I had to dress up all fancy. I don't think you understand. I'm wearing a button-up white shirt. And I'm wearing work pants. I am dressed to the nines. Anyways, it had to do with some stuff. And I'm not gonna... That's a little too personal for my liking to share. Which is saying something. Considering I am an oversharer. Is the only word I could say about that. And then I had to then go translate some stuff for my mom at for my little brother and getting him on medications and stuff. And then my little brother had his little Christmas sing-along for school thing. And then I got home and then I'm like, fuck, my room looks like an absolute fucking mess and I need to clean it because Storm is getting moody. And by moody, I mean he's starting to do little sprays. And I've been trying to clean up every time I hear him do the sprays and see him do the sprays, but it's kind of hard. So I need to track down where that one spray he did is, because I could smell it, but I can't find it. Never get a male cat. They spray piss when they start maturing. Anyways, I need to do that. I need to do a lot of things. I'm really stressed out. My head hurts because I've been smelling cat piss for the past couple hours. But this fanfic, this one chapter really made me smile. Especially that part where like Luz is like, it's a date, and Amity's like, okay, all right. Also, something bad's gonna happen. I could feel it in my bones, and I'm scared. Okay, as always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.